I'm Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights and Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.
Oh, guys, you're going to have to be patient with me today. I'm telling you, Chris and I were just talking just for a minute because he was here as requested. He, 7 minutes early so we can go through the stuff and kind of have some things to go through. But as you can tell, this is a totally different camera angle, folks. I'm going to shut that off. Hey, appreciate you guys dropping in. Sorry for being so late. I am very interested to find out about this next journey. But before I go on that, I want to complain and whine for a minute. The show's been going really well. We're kind of pulling stuff together. We're getting organized and things are happening. The only downside is today I can't access. So right now I have you on. See, I got to think where I'm looking now. I'm looking here. I have you on my phone here, and then I have you on Field Stream in my desktop everywhere else. So I'm trying to figure out how technology still works. Kind of embarrassing for a guy who runs an AI and automation class, huh? Woo, not a good look. So I'm gonna bring on my newest best friend ever in the world, Chris, because he's going to have to save me on this freaking thing. It's already looking ugly, and thank God he's a professional. And this is a really good story that he's got. He went through, and I think a lot of us have. I keep looking up there, damn it. He has a really good story because I think a lot of us have gone through this, and meaning the challenges of life. You're coming on, you're producing, you're creating. And life hits you a smack in the face a number of times, but the key message here, what we're picking up today, and what Chris is going to talk to us about, keep going, brother. Don't stop, right? I mean, tell us your story, Chris. Did I kind of do a good enough broad brush on the intro there?
No, you crushed it, first of all, and you got to roll with the punches in life. That's what this whole journey is about. I mean, you had a decision. Oh, don't go live, and you decided, screw it, I'm going to go live. I got the plumber in the background.
There's my plumber right there, guys. Say hi. All right, we're all done with that emergency. Thank you. I'll talk to you in a little bit. All right.
Amazing.
Bye. I'm in Mangum, Oklahoma now. I just moved here, and the people here are amazing, man. They're just so friendly. But he came in at the same time I was having a mental crisis and a technical breakdown. So go ahead, keep going, Chris. We're both going to keep going here.
First of all, it sounds like you got to cut down on the Chipotle, right? Second of all, hopefully everything works out with your plumbing situation.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for keeping everyone going live. Obviously it was pretty easy to just be like, oh, it's not working out, we'll just not go live. But you're like, screw it, gotta roll with the punches. That's kind of what my whole journey has been about.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've gotten the deck stacked against me since I was a kid, growing up in a broken family and going through that whole journey. Alcoholic mother and a stepfather that was addicted to drugs. It wasn't an ideal situation. So a lot of people would take that, look at it like, oh, I'm going to use that as my excuse as to why I'm not getting further in life. So I use it as, my fuel. So that's kind of where I came up with the whole concept of the book that I just put out a month ago called No Ceiling, No Excuses. It's all about how, you have to get rid of that self-imposed limit, that ceiling, whether it's financial, spiritual, mental, whatever. There's all day, every day, we're getting incoming fire, whether it's from family or from emails or from social media that says, hey, you're only meant to do this, not that. And it's all about breaking past that, that fake world that doesn't exist only in your own head, and just being the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah, that is an approach, and it's funny that you said the way you put that is in that the things that are only in your head, they're not real. I mean, it's like we say, everybody. This is gonna be hard, man. I'm gonna have some weird camera angles today. I can tell you that, guys. It's like they say, you if you're standing or right now, we're living two completely different lives because of the way we process things, right? Everything in life comes through our eyes, and then we process it in some way, and then that is the reality of our life, right? And you're on that pivot, that shift, that where that processing needs to go a direction because you're also in control of it. I mean, you things are harder or easier. That's going to be period, right? Damn, I wish I'm going to try and make this a little more matched up to you, but I really like that approach, and I really love what you're saying. Go ahead. I just wanted to. We've got a little bit more for you to fill in probably as people are usually I'm out here on stage kind of being the guy, the setup guy, get everybody as they're getting their coffee and getting them kind of rolling in. I started late, so we've got a little bit of time, and they're going to start. From experience, they're going to start asking some really cool questions. I've even gotten a number of people that are saying, dude, there's a lot of people ready on this because this is a topic we need to know. This is what makes the great America, the great American middle class powerful, more, this is about bringing us all together. This is about, yeah, I'm good. Bringing us together, having girth, having a voice. But in that, we also have to better improve ourselves because there's reasons that people are more successful or not. You agree with that, right, Chris? That's kind of an obvious, but yeah, right? Do you agree with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I mean, you're talking about the middle class. So, I mean, the
100%.
first third of the book is about the journey and the broken family and everything. The second part is all the different jobs that I had. And one of them was,
Yes.
I was a union steam fitter making over 100 grand a year. I had a vacation, I had benefits, I had insurance, and
Saw that.
I decided to walk away from all of it to kind of start my own business. And I always say my only regret is just not doing it sooner. And honestly, that's the truth, because there's nothing like working for yourself and building what you want to build. And there is no ceiling in what I do, and there was a ceiling in every other job that I had. And
True.
I halfway joke, job stands for just over broke. So you have to
Ooh,
stop working for
ooh, I
someone
like that.
else
Say that
and start
again. Say
working
that
for
again. I
yourself.
like that.
That's what it is, though. You got to work for yourself, and then that's gonna be what allows you to push past all these limits. The last third of the book is all about how I built the system and the business that I have right now, and how I have employees, and basically it helps me reach my dreams both financially and emotionally, and it allows me to work when I work
What's
when I
that
want to
business
work.
look like? What's it look like? What's the image in the mind? How does your business obviously you have a message and you speak and you write, or so I get it, but how does it look day to day, what you're doing?
Yeah, so my business is helping small and medium businesses take payments, whether it's through a full point of sale system or just a little credit card machine. And
Okay.
what I do is I'll go in and I'll, like day to day, I might meet with 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 different prospective clients, existing clients, and try to see if I could provide any sort of value. Usually, they're not 100% happy with their current either system or representative, or maybe they're getting overcharged or something like that. So what I do is I go in and I have a nice conversation as long as they're open to it, and I see if I could help the business out in any sort of way, and it seems to be working out.
So this a shift. That's a pivot. As far as expertise, how did you get into leading to the journey? Your business is a pay point, right? And and that being that, how did that enter your world? That technology, that expertise. We got some questions starting to come in, so um, a little bit more. I like to call it a little bit more. Want to look at my camera. I call it a little bit more color in between the layers. Make sense?
Yeah, totally. So, how I got into this crazy industry that I'm in was through my brother. I called him up one day when I had a little bit of money in the bank, and I was like, "Hey, let me get involved in your ATM business." And he's like, dude, he's like, and this was like 8 years ago. He's like, dude, no one uses cash anymore. He's like, you got to get involved in like the credit card industry. And I'm sure in another 8 years, he's going to tell me, dude, you got to get involved in this crypto industry, but one thing at a time, right? So I dug my head in and I learned as much as I could about the credit card world and learned that there's a whole business behind it to help small businesses grow and move the money from the customer's pocket into the business owner's pocket, and learned a lot about technology and both card present and card not present transactions and all different business verticals. And, I work with pizzerias, I work with hair salons, I work with, I don't know, like auto mechanics. Basically, like any small mom and pop business is one that I want to work with. I'm trying to bust into franchises, but it seems to be a little bit more challenging just because the decision makers are not always readily accessible. You can't walk into, the headquarters of McDonald's and just find the CEO hanging around, right? But you walk
No.
into,
Well, what do you do? What would you be doing with franchise? So when you say franchises, you mean like McDonald's, where you're it's a business that's owned by a local, or they own several of them, whatever their thing is. But that's a franchise. The name and the products all have to be bought and so forth from, in this case, McDonald's. Um, so so that's got to be a challenge because you're right. They don't have the say in. So how are you? That's an interesting. It's a little side here, and it's not to your exact message, but it's interesting that you're going after the franchises because that's a big business. I mean, that's, as you know, I mean, the NFL is a franchise, right? Is a franchise business. More. I think it's more revenue comes out of franchises than any other revenue style, if I'm not mistaken. But how are you approaching that? What's your path? Nah, what's your path? That's silly. What's your direction? What's your plan there?
So yeah, I was just saying franchises are a hard nut to crack,
They are,
and
but you get one and it's like 100 store or 10,000 stores or
yeah, I'm
whatever, right?
still
Because
trying to
then
get
everybody
started.
has to do it. Good idea. That's got to be tough though.
Yeah, next to impossible, some would say, but it's just persistence and knowing where to spend your time is key. Because you could spend your time a million different ways doing a billion different things, but if it's not profitable and it's not what you enjoy doing, then why are you doing it?
Exactly. That's a little of the old fashioned time management stuff there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Clive's jumps on here periodically, and but he wants to know what inspired you to write "No Ceilings, No Excuses." Hey, by the way, just a quick question. I think you have your camera and mirror, which I do a lot, whatever. But your background in verse, do you know that, or?
Um, I could probably
I mean,
flip
I
it.
could see it. No ceiling, no excuse. I just get in your back, brother. I just you flip that around and but anyway, while you're messing around with that, what inspired you to write the book?
Yeah, if people just watch this podcast through a mirror, it'll be perfect. So
Oh, okay, okay, all right. So I'm not, yeah. So I'll do that.
yeah, perfect. So I mean, what inspired me to write it? Honestly, an Instagram advertisement. Um,
Whoa, really?
yes, I swear, yes. So I run through just running through the day to day on Instagram. You get hit with an advertisement. Hey, have a crazy story. Wanna write a book? Click here. Got partnered up with this really cool company that I think they're called Peaceful Profits, and they booked like a 4-hour Zoom with me, and they made me laugh. They made me cry. They pulled every emotion out of me possible. By the end of the 4-hour Zoom, a week later, they sent me a detailed breakdown of each chapter that they suggested, along with a few paragraphs for each. And obviously, I took that and I changed a bunch and I rolled with it. And then I handed it over to my editor, Jen Fauci, amazing, and she improved and basically fixed this broken book and just released it a month ago. And my goal is to sell 1,000 copies. We're on pace right now. It's been out exactly 30 days today. We're almost there. You could
Wow.
check it out.
After wait. After 30 days today, you're almost at 1,000.
We're pretty close. Yeah, we're
You
getting there.
suck. You
Yeah,
suck. I've still got my book in query. I'm getting ready. I actually started this podcast because I'm writing. I have a book proposal.
oh,
It's a little
cool.
different. It's way different than yours. It's about what this show is about, right? It's not about financial stuff specifically, right? So I started this, and then this thing was blown. I mean, we got 300 people on right now. Probably half of them are pissed at me, and there's probably another 100 or so that said, "Screw you! You're going to be that late. I'm out of here." Um, but I'm really excited to go back. So I know for definitely for a fact, within 30 days, you're right around somewhere around 1,000 sales of the book.
Yeah,
It's huge, man.
yeah,
That's huge. Good for
yeah.
you.
Thank you.
So what can someone turn rock bottom into? How can somebody turn rock bottom? So I think this is more than just but how can they? What are the first? Let's Chris. What are the first steps that you're suggesting taking? Because if you're at rock bottom, obviously that's a great place to be. It's better than just above rock bottom because you could still go down. If you're down, you're down. How do you start that breakthrough?
Yeah, so you have to shift the mindset, which is easier said than done, especially when you're in the moment.
100%.
And you have to realize that it's only up from here or only down from here, whatever the hell the saying is. It's only going to get easier. That's what it is. And
That's
then
right.
it's just knowing that, hey, all these crappy negative things happen to me, but I'm going to use them as positivity, and I'm going to never look backwards, and I'm only going to look forwards. And I'm not going to use words like I should have done this, I would have done that, I could have done this, because that's all just negative self-talk. And then when you get in that bad headspace, it's never gonna work out in your favor.
Yeah, yeah. That's I love this, man. This is awesome. So, did you set an age goal or timeline in your life to take this adventure? Before you answer that, young lady on the screen right now is a very good friend of the show. As a matter of fact, she's done some work with it. She is a creator, and very very talented. I'm glad to see her on here. That's pretty good. That's pretty awesome. How do you see? Good to see you, Ronaldo. So, Chris, how did that goal setting kind of go? How, because there's more to it than all of a sudden just changing your state of mind, right? It's that goal setting, it's that drive that you need to keep going, that thing that you need to keep looking at, right? Is that put right?
100%. Yeah. So it was my goal to release this book on my 35th birthday, and I did that. So yeah, July 10th, 30
Look
days
at
ago.
you.
Yeah,
Look
the
at
book came the
you.
book came out. I did a big release party, had all my friends and family come, and it was a
Oh, wow, look
combination.
at
Yeah,
that.
it was
I'm
a combination birthday
63.
book
And
release.
what'd
It
you
was
say,
great.
35? Wait, you said 35, right? I'm
35.
63 and I'm still farting around. Look at this young buck go at it. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So that was a good time. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta I see a bunch of questions here.
Oh, there's a bunch. Yeah, absolutely. They're really starting to pick up here a bit. Which habit was the hardest for you to build?
The habit of so I mean, as far as the book is concerned, it was just writing. So what I did was I used iPhone notes, and every day I had like another thought. I would just add it to my notes. And then eventually after like a few months, I just had like a lot of just words that I just had to figure out how to restructure and make it make
Okay.
sense. So
Okay.
that's kind of how I pieced the book together. And then I see another question was, what role did mindset play in your sales success? Mindset is everything. Without being positive, without looking towards the future and being inspired, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get stuck. The book is all about getting unstuck. Okay, so if you feel like you hit a wall and you got to blow past it, you got to smash the ceiling, you got to be Charlie and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory at the end of the movie when he blows past the glass ceiling, then this is for you. The business lesson that cost me the most to learn was spending money actually makes you more money. when you hire the right people. So it's all about
Yeah,
having a
being
good
cheap isn't
team.
necessarily a good thing, right?
What's that?
I said being cheap or getting the best for your dollar, best bang for your buck, isn't necessarily getting the least expensive contributor that you have to pay for, right? It's
Right.
sometimes, well, not sometimes, basically you always get what you pay for. And I just want to give a shout out here. Chris, again, thank you very much. Ronaldo, probably chat with you a little bit later. Thank you. Awesome. And Daniel, great questions and comments here, folks. Um, how 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 did you what so you released your book 35, you said, right? It was 35, not 36. It's 35 years old. Um and you started the business, so you were a pipe fitter, a steam fitter, sorry. And I come from a machinery business. I love that background. And then as you walked away from that, and that's really there's a lot of need for that too. So it wasn't like it wasn't like it was an easy thing to do, I would
Right.
imagine, or very safe. When was that? And why was that? A little bit more. Why was that than what we've talked about? Yes, it's awesome at the end of the day to create your own schedule and to have more literally meaning and impact in your life. Yes, it's very meaningful to put systems together and that hard work and that manly, that's an awesome thing. As I said, I come from that welding, all the way through stainless steel, the carbines. As we made machines that were 25,000 pounds. So I love that. But now shifting over to this, and I'm guessing it's the same thing. It's a totally different world, but it's also a meaningful place and journey that you could never imagine while doing what you were doing. That was taking the responsible way in life. Now it's much more risky, much more reward, a lot more effort, all about the mind. How old were you at that point when you started that shift, and why did you specifically make that shift?
How old was I when I left steam fitting?
Yes.
So I left being a steam fitter about 4 years ago. So I was a little over 30, maybe 31. Um,
Good
yeah,
timing though too, because as you get older, your mind really needs to be the producer more than the body, because at a point your body starts breaking down. So
right.
I assume you had some of that in the calculation eventually. Not now, not now. I mean, not now, but so about 30.
Yeah, I was about 30 and yeah, after doing construction for 14 years, your knees just are screaming every morning you're waking up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, enough is enough, had to get out. Decided to ditch that. Look, never look back, honestly, and just keep building and scaling in what I believe in, which is my new industry. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Um, Anita, which business lessons? Thank you, Daniel, again. Which business lessons cost you the most to learn? I saw this one early on, and this is a good. I think we started it, but we didn't talk about this yet, did we? Right?
Which business lesson cost me the most to learn? I think I
Cost
read
you
it,
the
but I don't know
most.
if I answered it. Yeah. Um, it's an interesting one. So, oh no, I did answer this. This was the one that I was just saying. I wish I hired good people sooner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. And so you, I was not the place to put that. Um, so. Uh, how did that roll back over for you? So you learned that you should have been hiring good people early, like from the get-go, because you're throwing really low money after bad money, less money after bad money. You start hiring good people. It's going to cost, like you said, starting off the first time, it does cost money to make money, and you have to have the right people doing it. And we've all, I have, I'm sure we all have made that mistake. How quickly did you learn that lesson, and what were there any major costs, or was it just like this is just too damn flat. Because we're only talking over a few years here, right? That you made that transition from let's do it cheap and see if we can get away with it to, hey, I got to get some talent in here that's equal my vision and able to carry that vision. You're the creator, you're the visionary, and then you need people like the great middle class to build the backbone. They are the backbone of your company, right? And if they're good, you got a
Yeah.
strong backbone. Not now you may have saved 10,000, 4,400, whatever. I don't know. You may have saved payroll a little bit, but how long did it take you to figure out you're also not making revenue for making payroll, right? As well as it should. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. And it's also about the cost of opportunity. If
Ooh,
you're, yeah. So there's a
Bill.
cost to spending your time because now you're not being able to utilize your time for something else that generates more revenue. So if you could crack the code and figure out how to delegate properly, you could have people do the things that you're normally doing. So that way you're not losing out on the cost of opportunity. So let's see what other questions are here. What part of your journey taught you the most resilience? Uh, that is a good question. What part of the journey taught me the most resilience?
That's kind of going in the same thing we're talking about here as far as like just pulling out a little bit more because there's so you gotta realize you're in that. Well, I feel like I'm being a dad here. I shouldn't. Sorry about that. But you're in what your generation, where you are now, who you are now, that where you sit in life is what I like to call that bridge generation. After your generation, you have seen what I have seen. Um, After your generation, nobody else from that point on has any clue as to what the old world operated like. And there is a difference. I mean, AI is just starting, but it's amazing because my generation, I'm the very end of the baby boomers, right? The very last. So I saw the baby boomers. I wasn't really a big part of it, but I was part of it in that I was around during that time. Very different time. But as you go on, then the next generation is you and more basically just shoring up what we my generation is depending on the generations that follow to be successful because there's a point where our earning power, which is now upon us basically, really starts to drop. I think your 50s, maybe into your early 60s is your biggest earning power potential. Then after that, obviously it's starting to go, and whatever you have, and as long as it doesn't, an economy doesn't flatten out, then you have the ability to finish your life, and we're all living longer. But then the generation right after you, kind of the college kids area, there's a lot of new stuff, and then I'm going to get into all that, but that whole generation's still kind of lost. They grew up in a different way, totally different way, and I think parents handled them in a completely different way. And there's all sorts of stories out there now where parents are going with kids to interviews and stuff. So it's a very concerning generation because that's the one we have to rely on, right? To make, because if they don't perform, the economy can't grow. You say good people, bad people. There's a gap here in my belief. But then there's the generation that are coming up, and they're amazing. They're the younger, the 13s, the 19s. Because I do a show with my granddaughter. It's called Emma and Grandpa Rod, and it's all about living life today and they see what's happening and saw what's happening and they're so informed. It's kind of a weird mix right now, but it's really good to see uh, how powerful your generation is and so quickly becoming. Uh, I just want to get that through. So, in that, what taught you the most? I mean, there's those questions we're digging into, because this is awesome what you have achieved, and I see it. I mean, I don't remember people in my generation at 30 and 40 being at the levels that you guys are in, operating and going after and doing things for your families and so forth. What taught you the most as far as the resilience to keep going?
What taught me the most? Sorry, I think something's buzzing.
Yeah, I got a call coming in. I
We
didn't
good?
know you can hear that on you, huh?
All right, cool. So sorry, what the question was?
Which part of your journey taught you the most resilient?
Which part of the journey taught me the most resilience? I would say working with people and hiring employees, because it teaches you that you have to you can't put everything on your own shoulders. You have to delegate. And the
That's hard.
second that yeah, it's super hard. Yeah, and then the second that you try to do everything yourself, you're just going to burn yourself out, and you're not being efficient. So you got to learn how to let go of control and and just let people do their thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's something I like to refer back to, because that's a very hard thing for somebody to do. If you're the creator,
Yeah,
and you said it earlier with bad people. Now let's say you hire good people, and then you don't have the ability to let it go, because, like you said, you're not in other places that are more critical to earning income, right, for the company. When you're doing something that the bad person isn't necessarily doing as well as they should, you're having to fulfill that. When you've got good people, you need to be able to let that go and say, make it happen, you know.
exactly.
Thank you very much, Damien. I appreciate that. Justina, what was the turning point of your business? That's a great question right there.
That is an awesome question. The turning point of the business would be when we decided to change our business model. You getting another call?
Uh, I told you, we're gonna do round two on this, and make it more like, this is not a show that's uh, aesthetically beautiful or perfect, and it's not meant to be. It's, a couple of people talking, like we talked about, talking about a subject we both like. But this is beyond that. So I owe you a round two for sure, because this is the topic that, this is about creating wealth, and we always talk about how the elites have a lot more access to information than we do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not like, ooh, but what I mean by that is that this show is about bringing information and knowledge and awareness and paths, not just scratching over the surfaces, not just making, minor points, but literally actionable things. And it's great that we have this here, and sometimes you just can't help but trip all over yourself. But like you said, we got to keep going at this. So we'll have a round two on this, because there are no excuses. There is no ceiling, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Let's put a pin in this for now. Just until we're both on the same page and everything's working. And I look forward to connecting again.
Well, let's at least finish off the questions that our people have. I just wanted to restate what we were talking about before, and that how do you stay committed, disciplined, when the results are starting to slow? I mean, these are all questions that every business. These are the things that people are hungering for.
Right.
What do you
Yeah.
got?
So you gotta just keep your eyes on the prize, and you have to just keep pushing when you don't feel like pushing anymore. You just have to keep it going, and you have to know that the light is at the end of the tunnel, and the suck ain't gonna last forever, I like to say.
Great, great point. Great question, Damien. So Justina comes back to you, and she's what was the turning point in your business? You know, where did that? I know we were talking about when you started getting better people. This is a very similar question. Oh, that's okay, similar, but when you started working with better people, obviously that was a turning point. Anything else in there that you define as the turning point for your business?
Yeah, turning point is just the moment that it clicks that you can't do everything yourself and you got to have people help you out. That's a huge turning point right there.
Absolutely. So, which mindset shift made the biggest impact in your life? I mean, we're really earlier, Daniel. What role did mindset play in your sales success? Now, as far as mindset shift, the biggest impact in your life, it's really important that people are really trying to dig in deep in how to get that success locked in without uh, society themselves and whatever else circumstances beating themselves up. That mindset it's about keep going. But what was the impact? What was the moment that made the biggest impact in your life?
Yeah, that when think when I hired my first employee and I realized and I'm like I could pay good people to do what I would normally do instead of me spending my time on it. That was the most, helpful decision ever, honestly.
Yeah, I remember not the same thing, but I remember when my son was born. The first time I laid him down in his cradle at home, it was like, holy shit. Just like employee, they're dependent on you. You have
Yeah.
somebody who's totally dependent on your managing abilities. Great question, Daniel. Adam, what was the toughest hurdle you faced in building your business?
Finding the right people, not just finding people, but finding the right people, the people that look out for you when no one else is, people that do the right thing when no one's watching, people that are going to show up when you need them to show up, um, and just kind of persevering and just like I said, just looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think Christina's got it right here. This advice is pure gold, absolutely for entrepreneurs, and it's really awesome that we get the honor and the ability to find and be found by people who have knowledge that we can bring. Will you do me a favor? Like in a final comment, but in the private chat, I don't think you can put it straight into the comments. Some people can, some can't. But either way, can you put your contact information in the chat, the private chat? When I see the little red dot, I'll copy and paste it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how it goes, man. A month from now, an hour from now, a year from now, somebody's going to come on and go, "Oh, damn! What did Chris mean by that?" And they'll leave a comment probably on the actual YouTube post. We are streaming out live to Instagram, X, YouTube, uh, LinkedIn, and Facebook all at the same time. And then we also do a TikTok separately, either before or after preview, post view kind of summary of the show and the episode. So um, we we will be checking that out. Hey, Justina, thank you for your comment. Ronaldo, what's next? What is your next life changing goal?
Yeah, really good question. This is gonna definitely be my last one because I have to jump on another interview, but these questions are awesome. Back to your original question, my contact info, you could just reach out to me. Go to my website, www.noceiling.noexcuses.com. And then my next life changing goals, I'm definitely gonna say it right now for the first time, writing my second book.
Woo! Okay, so that's an exclusive comment
There you go.
statement. All right, brother. I want to make sure you got it right there. Boom. There it is.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
This was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate it. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think
No
it
problem.
worked out pretty good. I like the way the audience is really involved in what you're saying specifically and what we're doing. So
Yeah,
give everybody a big wave and
I
go
will.
hit your other show. I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you. Yeah, some really good real questions there. So thank you again.
You bet, brother.
All right.
All right, cool, man. Well, we made it through. It wasn't pretty, and it's a whole different angle. It's this feels like TikTok versus this live stream that we're doing here. But I mean, as the old saying goes, this is live and shit happens, and I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.